Hi, Ray here, not that one. Well, this is the second video I've done on the van, and I thought today we'll just have a look at the outside so we can see what's here. So I think what we'll do is we'll wind out the awning. So this is a Fiamma awning. I don't use it an awful lot because generally I tend to be wild camping rather than on campsites, and yeah, I don't put the awning out when I'm wild camping, obviously. It's a pretty bad practice to do that. Right, let's get that tensioned. I do find this when I'm in like the Lake District, that is when I do most of my campsite work. Just not always, but it's often easier for me. Park up, I know the van is safe, I can go off and walk for however far I want to do, usually a pretty long way, and I know the van's safe. So that's the awning out. I haven't got any sides for it, it's literally just that, so if it's sunny, chunning down the rain, either or, it's a nice space. Right, so what I want to show you is something which is quite cool. So if you notice this pattern on the underside of the awning, and then you look at the panelling in the van, they are one and the same. Now that makes it look like I very cleverly constructed this with that in mind, but sadly that's a complete fluke. So obviously when I was looking at awnings and I saw that colour, I thought, blimey, that matches the inside of the van, so that's the reason I bought it. But yeah, that's quite a nice little touch actually. Yeah, so I have installed this rather nice fly screen, which is great for me because I am not the world's biggest fan of flies in the van, or the house for that matter. And this is nice because I can obviously head to fresh air. All the other windows have got fly screens on, so it makes sense to have them on this one as well. The only place that hasn't got any fly screens is the back doors, but other than that we're covered. So they are, incidentally, I found very tricky to fit. Even though I fitted this in quite early in the build, it was still very, very awkward. This didn't seem to, it was designed for this van, but it didn't want to fit this van. So I was filing and making small adjustments. So I think I read somewhere that they say you can retrofit them. There is no way I'd want to try and fit one of these into an existing van. So I think that would be very difficult. So if you are contemplating that, then you need to have a really careful look at it. Anyway, that aside, we'll drop you down. So I put a little cubby hole in the bottom here. This is literally to isolate the gas. That's the main gas valve that shuts everything off, and these two will isolate the oven and the hob independently. So they live in there. I've got a furl step here. I don't use it a great deal, but you know, sometimes if you are on uneven ground and you end up with a really big difference here, that's quite nice. I've got a little blingy light there, but as a general rule that stays in, which is why that's a little bit stiff. I've got a free gas sensor here, which is a safety feature obviously, just in case any leaks or anything similar in the van, it alerts you. Now up the top of the van here, above the door opening, this is a light, but it doubles up as a drip, so that's like a gutter if you like. But it's also It's also a very bright outside light as well, which is really quite nice when it's obviously when it's dark. Stupid thing to say, but you know what I mean. Okay, so carrying on, one of the more awkward things is fitting the windows to the side of the van. So quite a nerve-wracking experience when you're marking out and taking a jigsaw to a relatively new van. Something you don't want to cock up. Be a very expensive mistake. So on this side, that's about it. I put all the vehicle graphics on when I first built the van, and then after that I decided I'd rather like to black out that sort of middle portion of the van, which I do quite like, but it does attract quite a lot of heat on the. It doesn't affect the inside so much, but it does. This does get very, very hot, and where I normally park it, the other side is facing the sun, and that has split a bit, so I have a feeling that is going to be coming off. But anyway, here's my water filler, and other than that, I've got some alloy wheels which I fitted just to bling it up a bit. They're standard size wheels. I didn't mess around because of I think you can have issues with, you know, gear ratios and all that malarkey, so I just kept it a standard size. On the back door I have the brackets for my furl bike rack, which I've taken off for this trip. I took my cycle last year to Norway and Sweden, but I'm not taking it this year, so it's going to be too busy canoeing. So we'll take that off. We'll save a bit of weight, save a bit of drag. Okay, this side of the van. See, mirror image of the other side, funnily enough. But we have Truma air vent fitted there. We have cubby hole there for my electric hookup, and that's my gas filler just there. A gasit system I bought to fit this van. It was very easy to fit, apart from the other usual safety concerns and following instructions. And you know, again, anytime you're drilling holes in the side of a van, you have got to be pretty sure you're in the right place. That's where my wastewater and freshwater drains are. The barratt tanks fitted to this van, they're all underslung, which I will show you in a bit. In here is the cartridge for my Thetford toilet, so quite a large container in there. Lasts me about a week or so. So there we have the large bedroom roof light, and there we have a 120 watt solar panel. Here we have the smaller bathroom roof light. There we have the main compartment roof light. Here is the unit for my 4G Wi-Fi setup, and that's where the cables go into the side of the van. And at the front there's a 150 watt solar panel. Now what you may notice is I've secured those with aluminium angle, which I screwed to the panel and then Sikaflex to the roof. I wasn't overly keen on the big, clumsy, heavy plastic brackets that come with the panels, so that's what I decided to do. And in the middle I'll put a bead of Sikaflex just to stop the panel flapping in the wind as it were, being thus obviously right at the front of the van. I thought that might be in danger of flapping around. And so that's what's up on the roof. All the better from the fact that I actually cleaned it. Just go around this side as well. Just to complete the journey. So there we go. Okay, underneath the van I have, this is a barratt tank, and that's a 90 litre freshwater tank. You can see the hose there which comes across to the filler on the side. And at the front here, that is my gasit 25 litre gas tank. Got the regulator up there. Sometimes I can disconnect this and fit a separate gas bottle there if I needed to. But yeah, that's it. And there you can just see the side of the step they're quite large with ground, those things. I wouldn't necessarily fit one again, but I have caught it a couple of times. You do have to be very careful with these vans when you're going over rough ground, because a lot of the tanks are quite low as well. And on this side, which is difficult to see, but there's a 60 litre wastewater tank there, and then you've got the pipes which come across to the drain valves which are here. Yeah, Barratt tanks, there you go. Sean's the man. These tanks have been fantastic. He said to me that there's such thick material they'll never freeze, and so far he's been right. They've never frozen yet. Right, now we're into the boot. So, because I've kept the bed at a fairly generous height, I've got this little 60 centimetres height here, and depth wise we've got about 85 centimetres, and these vans are, well, they're just over 6 feet wide, which is why this style of van is quite desirable, because you can get a 6 foot bed in across the back. Some vans, like the Vauxhall ones, and I think some of the MAN and Mercedes, they slope in at the top, so you struggle with that. So yeah, these are very popular vans, this whole Peugeot, Citroen, Fiat range. This side of the van is full depth, so I've got just under 1.5 metres down here, which is, it's quite narrow, but I can fit an awful lot of stuff in there, as you can see. So at the moment this stuff is loose, but there's all my vehicle ramps there, jacks, hoses, warning triangle, all just a whole host of stuff you need to go with a van for general servicing. And yeah, when you're on a campsite or whatever, there's tool kits or bags of odds and ends, just the whole load of stuff, and that all fits in there, which leaves the rest of the boot clear, because I'm going to be filling this up with stuff for my upcoming trip. That's my blooming Hestenthal barbecue, which is a really nice little unit. So I've been super impressed with this. It's got a chopping board on top, a little plastic lid there where you can put your food or whatever you want, what you're cooking, you can store that in there. It's twin walled, so it stays relatively cool on the outside, and it's just a lovely size. I had that quite a while, and yeah, I've been very, very happy with that. So that's going to sit in here with all my other stuff. Yeah, so I've got a fire extinguisher there, so that's easily accessible, and a little safe there which I'll bolt down through the ends of the chassis. And yeah, and the whole boot was finished out with the same grey stretchy carpet. So I made plywood panels for the back, and then just wrapped this all the way around, and then I even painted the screw heads grey. Other notable things in here is, I'll have to take the camera off to show you this. So what I did with this bed is, these are the IKEA slats, which are fairly popular to use, but in this van I've got these wing nuts here, so this bed is supported on brackets here, one in the middle and wing nuts that side, and if you undo all of those, this bed will actually slide in half, thereby giving you the full height of the back of the van if you want to stand cycles up or anything else which is tall. You could do so. So I've got these little touch lights in here as well. There's one each side. It's just illuminate everything up really nicely. There's a hot air vent coming here as well, so this whole boot was heated, and which will dry things if you've got any damp stuff, boots or jackets in the boot, but also it warms up the bottom of the bed as well. Quite nice. Now in this area here, light switch just there. Right, this is my Truma gas boiler. So this does my hot water and central heating, and all the water comes in here. So this is the water pipe in, goes through a pre-filter into the pump, into an accumulator, background, I've got an isolating valve here if I want to just turn everything off, and then that pressurises up the whole system. That's the dump there if I want to dump the water for, you know, for winter time and save anything freezing. I can dump all the water out there, and the gas line comes in here, and that's the valve for the gas. So these brown pipes are the pipes that go to all the heating ducts inside the van. The black one is the exhaust, so that's all the hot air from the boiler when that's running goes through to the vent out on the outside, which you'll see in due course. There's several vents, you can't see them all, there's some other vents at the other end which run round to the other side. Yeah, that's about it in here really. You can see those just the water pipes and things. I've just recently serviced the van, I haven't finished topping up the oil properly, so that's why the oil is in here. This is where I've normally just got some water and some screen wash just hooked there. I do, if I'm touring around the UK, and often I'll take a separate gas bottle because it can be quite difficult to get hold of gas a lot of the time, so I have a separate bottle there which I can connect to the bottom of the van to get me out of a muddle. But in Norway and Sweden there's gas everywhere, so there's no issues there at all. The other thing I have in here is a 6-metre long shower hose, so I can back the van up against a hedge or somewhere with a bit of privacy, and I won't press the button because yes, it is live. Yeah, so I can just shower outside, which is normally what I do because that saves getting a lot of moisture inside the van. Although I have got a shower in there as well. I generally tend not to use it. Yeah, and I think that concludes the tour. So you can see all the units above the bed from this angle. Yeah, it's all quite neat. I've got wood to fill in all the gaps, and yeah, it's all quite neat and nice. The way I like to keep it, same vinyl throughout the whole van. You can see quite a large step here because this van has 25mm of flytex insulation on the floor and a 9mm lightweight plywood, so that's got quite a big step here. You'll see a lot of vans, they haven't got any step. Yeah, the floor is pretty much level with these door blocks, and that's one way of telling whether there's insulation or not. So that pretty much sums it up, I think.